Hi, Lauren. Welcome to our Next podcast.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here. I can't wait to yap.
I am so excited to have you. So, you've been one of my dream authors that I've been wanting to talk to you for quite some time since your debut because you made a huge splash in the book talk world and just the book world with Powerless. So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Lauren, obviously. I'm 23 years old now, but when I wrote Powerless, I was 18. And
Gosh.
yeah, it all kind of came together because of the internet and the fact that as I was writing, I was actively promoting the book
Yeah.
and bringing the internet on the journey.
Yeah.
So that was how this all came to be. I self-published, and then now with my lovely publishing house, I'm in Schuster. And yeah, I live in Michigan, have my whole life. So I'm here still and I'm just writing.
Talk to us about the journey because you probably didn't start writing this while you were in high school. This is not the first time you just 18, you finished a book. Like it probably has been birthing for some time. So talk to us like how did you like get started and like you figure out self-publishing?
Yeah, great question. Because even looking back at now, I'm like, how did I do that? Truly, I feel so spoiled now with my publisher that I'm like, it was such an ordeal. And I do not, it's such a huge accomplishment to self publish, truly. But yeah, I always loved writing growing up. It was
Yes.
one of my favorite pastimes. I really enjoyed script and dialogue. That was something that I really loved to dabble in.
Yeah.
And so I always grew up doing that. I had a digital camera that I would literally write scripts and then perform for my camera. And it's so embarrassing. I still have some of the videos to this day. But that was just such a passion of mine, was just creating and telling a story. And so when I started on the internet, just solely as a book talker, just talking about books that I loved and trying to find people who enjoy the same thing, as I was on the internet, I had the idea for Powerless. And I immediately went on a TikTok live and was like, what do you guys think about this idea? And everyone in the live was so supportive. And they were like, yes, we want to read this book. They really want to hear me tell this story. So from that point on, I just started writing. And I'd never written a book before. I'd written a lot of short stories and dabbled here and there, but this was my first time stepping into something that massive and in depth. And so I just kind of fumbled my way through it and just kept passion at the root of it all, because I felt that was obviously where all of this stemmed from. So I was like, you know what? As long as I love what I'm doing, that's all that matters. And so I brought the internet on the journey, and they were so supportive, and I kind of promoted the book as I was writing it. And then I remember I finished it in about 3 months, and I started working with a freelance editor who was incredible. Love you, Michelle. She helped take Powerless and turn it into what it is now. And after that, then I was like, you know what? I'm going to self publish. And so I kind of just set my mind to it and literally had to Google how to self publish a book. I had no clue what I was doing. Right. And Library of Congress numbers and ISBN. It was so insane. And I just was like Googling my way through everything.
Yeah.
And in a few months was able to pull it together and managed to publish Powerless beginning of 2023. And it was out for a few months before my now publisher reached out to me and they wanted to pick it up and put it out mainstream, if you will. It's such a whirlwind and an insane learning process that I look back on now and I'm just so amazed how everything fit together and it all happened. And I'm just very grateful to be here. It's been a wild journey. That's my yap.
Oh my gosh, I love this journey. I love the fact that you incorporated the audience. And in many ways, sometimes it's very scary to talk to right for an audience because everyone has an opinion. Reading is so subjective. Everyone feels like it's this way, it should be this way. But I think in a way, your passion, your brightness, and your bubbliness allow them to feel like, you know what, we want to root for you. We want to see the story and we want you to actually do this. And at the same time, your scrappiness of trying to figure out, like, how do I actually get this process published? What doesn't work? Because a lot of times people stump in the idea like, oh, it has to be one way. And you found a different path. And that path may lead you to something else, which a lot of times I've talked to a lot of authors is this is not a linear process. It's not like a one time I wrote a book and that's it. Even you had that experience of writing the first book, but you had to go through the process of actually marketing and sharing it. And then working with publishers and working with building a larger audience and a larger place where people have a lot of opinions. And that's amazing.
It's been a journey. I always come back to that. It's been so surreal. And yeah, like I feel so, I don't know, grateful for being here and just being able to share my work. And there's definitely pros and cons to everything, of course, but I always try to be passion at the center of it. And I hope that my, I don't know, the way that I got here is inspiring for other potential authors out there. And they are looking at this going, you know what? Try that too. That really is my whole goal. That's kind of my North Star, is to just support other creatives and show them like, this is how I did it. You can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it. So that's what I want to preach all the time, is just go follow your passions and do the thing, because you never know what will happen with it.
I love this. All right. So let's from a Powerless. Let's give the elevator pitch to our listeners who may not be familiar with it, which I'm not sure you're sitting on their rock, but we may not be familiar with it. Powerless is a trilogy with novellas. So there's 4 books in the world. It starts with the first book with Powerless and it goes to 2 more books. And so talk to us about the elevator pitch of why should listeners pick it up?
So Powerless is just, it was truly a mosaic of everything that I loved about the YA space. And so it's very much, Peyton is our main character, and she is hiding in an elite society where only elites are allowed. And she happens to be an ordinary, so she has no powers, but she's posing as if she does. So she's posing as a psychic in this elite society. And of course, she gets thrown into these trials that are meant to display the powers that she doesn't have. So it just is very much a combination of magic and kind of Hunger Games with this competition feeling and just a lot of tropes and a ton of romance. And it was just very much 18-year-old me being like, let me throw everything that I love into one book.
Yes, and I think in some ways it's compulsively reading. You've finished the first book and you're like, oh my gosh, I need the next book. And the good news for listeners that all books are out. So you can actually really bench on this series.
Yeah.
It has for romance readers, because we do have a large community of romance readers here. It does have the enemies to lovers trope, the ones the forbidden trope, because they're not supposed to be together. They're a different caste system. She's not even supposed to be alive.
Right, exactly.
Talk about stakes in the romance.
Right. Which just makes so like the tension, it's just so juicy in a fantasy world where it's like, we can't be together. And then they're like actively protecting each other in the trials. It's just, I remember literally giggling and kicking my feet writing it in my bedroom.
Yeah, it's like you have a plot and story that's like it's not just world building. It has the plot, it has the trials, it has the action that's happening. You have the romance that's building and brooding and it's just forbidden, and we love those stakes so high. And the best part is that if you're an audiobook listener, you have 2 options now. The first option is your straight up audiobook that we normally listen to, but then we now get a dramatized version of it. So talk to us about this version, which is so exciting because we love the good movie on our ears.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. That's such a good way to put it. It really is a movie for your ears. Like it is. Oh my goodness. When my team kind of brought that to me, when SNS was like, how do you feel about a graphic audiobook? I was like, yeah, yes, please. That sounds absolutely incredible. It's a dream come true. And they have handled it with such care and dedication. And I've been a part of the whole process. Everything from like the script, the sound effects, the music, like all of it, I was able to like really dig into with them, which was so, so cool. And I even got to play a part in the audiobook, which was so fun. I voiced Tila, who is the host, if you will. And it was such a blast to go into the studio and just get to play around and do a different voice and just have fun. So it was so cool to be a part of it in that way. But dramatized audiobook, it is like exactly how I envisioned Powerless to be when I was writing it. And now it's like coming to life in this new way. And it's just so visceral. And like for the first time in a long time, it felt like I was able to like reread Powerless in a fresh new way, because obviously I'm so close to the books and I'm so close to that world. And when I put on the headphones and I listened to it for the first time, I was like, what happens next? What now? It was as if I had never read it before. And it was just, it's incredible. So I'm so excited for everyone to listen to it. It is insane. It's amazing.
Like, talks about the process of like scripting, because you also have to think about like different voices and different dialogues. It's much more, it's a different format altogether. Taking the story and rebuilding it in a way that it's like a movie essentially. So
Yes.
just from your place, like what was your input in that part of the process?
Yes. So I got to hand select all of the voices, which was so cool. And I'm very honored that the team trusted me with that. And so obviously I was like, I really need Chase and Cecily to be back, who voiced Kai and Ian. I was like, obviously I love them. They do such an incredible job. I really wanted them back. But then for everybody else, it was like really brand new. It was whatever we wanted it to be. And so the team kind of compiled the list of actors to choose from. And I went through and I listened to samples of everybody and would be like, ooh, I think it would be a great Edric, or this would be an amazing Adina. Like, really got to pick through and like through all these different voices. And sometimes it took multiple rounds. Like, yeah, for characters, it was like not feeling that any of these are right. And we find some other options. And so it was very collaborative, the whole team coming together and being like, we really like voice number one, but what do you think? And then I got to share my input. And so it was so special to be able to go in there and take the voice that I had in my head for every character and match it up with different actresses and actors. And it was incredible. So I feel very confident and very happy with all of the voices that were chosen, because I literally got to sit down and hours listening to all.
Oh my gosh, listeners, you gotta pick out the dramatized version of Heartless. This is like a must listen. If you already have listened or read the book, the trilogy, honestly, this is a new way to immerse it and maybe become your next comfort read. Many of my listeners have found that graphic audios tend to be the comfort read that they go back to in times of stressful.
Absolutely. It's a way to escape and immerse yourself in the story.
So, Lauren, let's talk about your reading life. What type of books do you read? Do you read some fantasy? Do you read some romantasy? Do you read some dystopian? Because they're all mixed together. Or do you,
Yes.
or do you a curveball and read something completely different?
Yes, I actually feel like I might throw a curveball here because
Really?
yes, I obviously love fantasy and romantasy. That is, especially right now, that's kind of what I enjoy writing the most at the current age. So obviously love that. Well, read much dystopian actually.
Yeah.
I typically stay in the fantasy genre, but Powerless does have very much a dystopian vibe to it. So but what I actually enjoy the most and what I think I read the most of currently is literary fiction.
I love this. I love this so much.
And no, it's kind of random, but I love, for instance, I love a blend of literary fiction with a fantastical world, especially. And I think Olivie Blake, I talk about her all the time. I think Olivie Blake does such a fabulous job of that. She really balances the two of written very lyrically, but it's fantastical, the story itself. And I also think V.E. Schwab handles that very well and balancing the two of those things. And so that's kind of the genre that I really love, because I just love pretty writing, and it's like my favorite thing. I love, it's almost like reading poetry, but like with a really cool plot. So like my mix of my two favorite things that I love. So yeah, I'd say literary fiction / fantasy is where I'm sitting.
Yes, that's a really good niche because it just gives you a little bit like a bridge to literary fiction with character development, growth, messiness, not straight it up. And then obviously the fantastical world, whether it's magical realism or maybe just like other experiences, other world building, and has like a little bit of both. And so it's for
Yes.
me, it's just like it's underrepresented. And I really wish we have a little bit more, but
I know. Well, hopefully one day I'll really get in there and gear towards literary fiction. But even in the near future, things I'm like currently working on,
yeah.
really more recently, I've started to gear my writing in a more literary fiction style, even though it still is very much fantasy and romantasy. But I just love pretty prose. And so I just want to sprinkle that into whatever I can. So I'm slowly making my way there.
And then do you have a book or two you want to recommend our listeners to pick up?
Yes. Okay. On the theme of Olivie Blake, I think I have a shrine of her books on my bookshelf, but one of her favorite for me is Alone with You in the Ether, which it's very much literary fiction. There's not any fantasy in it, but it is fantastic. It is the most real romance and relationship book that I've read. So, so good. So I love that by her. I also love Masters of Death by her, which is literary fiction and fantastical. Those are two of my favorite. I think One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig, I really enjoyed. That's very fantasy. It's got kind of a gothic element. That was super fun. Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Oh,
So good.
one of my favorites, was incredible. And again, she just blends those two genres so well. And then an oldie but a goodie, which I've been seeing this book's praises for years, is Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. It is a fantasy duology and it's got a lot of romantasy in it. And I just love those books. I think they're just fantastic. So I'd say that's my bundle.
Oh my gosh, I love this bundle, and I'm adding the Mary Pearson for sure. Like I am adding that. I'm like, okay, that's next week.
You have to let me know what you think about it,
I will.
because I want to just yap about it.
So, Lauren, tell us where you can find you online.
Yes, so I am on Instagram at Lauren Roberts Library. I'm on TikTok at Lauren Roberts Library. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. Oh, I have a Substack as well at Lauren Roberts Library. But there's some more fun things coming in the future. So if anybody wants updates on upcoming projects or things, I would check out any of those social media outlets and I'll be yapping on there.
Awesome. Lauren, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. This was such a blast. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to the What to Read Next. For more book lists, cozy reads, and library tips, visit the whattoreadnextblog.com. Your next great read might be waiting there.